Hello, and welcome back to another video. This is the 12th episode of story in which Naruto is grandson of Madara Uchiha. Naruto learns of this when his Sharingan activates. Let's see how Naruto Uzumaki Uchiha takes world by storm. After you've finished watching, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Stay out of my way. The beautiful red-haired woman tells her. Doesn't ask. Tells, with an uncanny smug smirk that Karen has seen only on Naruto. Violet eyes stand out in stark contrast to Dark's clear eye. Her red hair, impossibly thick and smooth, reaching down to her ankles and carried by the wind of a firestorm. Her fair skin is cracked and jagged, but to Karen, this dead woman is still enviously beautiful. Even equipped in pale armor, covering a red and white surcoat. Kushina. The Ondame sounds happy and affectionate. Our boy bought you back? Karen spies the twitch on Kushina's eyebrow. Minato. Kushina does not sound happy or impressed. This is great. Minato continues obliviously. Karen finds it genuinely impressive that he can be so hopeless when Kushina tone is making hairs stand up on the back of her neck. You can help the Konohana seal us away, or maybe even overwrite the tags controlling us. Minato. The Ondame's eyes go wide and he instinctively hunches his shoulders. 30 minutes ago, Kushina starts ominously. I gave birth to our son. Before someone abused the single time of weakness I would have to take my Baiju. My Baiju? My power. The one man I trusted to protect me as I brought his son into the world failed to do so. Our son had to grow up without us. Minato stands upright again. That is not fair, Kushina. Neither of us could have predicted that someone that powerful would be there that night. I did. Kushina spits viciously. No one could have known where we even were. I'd selected a site to give birth that not a single person would have been able to find. And yet, we were found. Why? Because you foolishly placed your trust in Konohagakure no Sato. Instead of listening to me, you decided that the wrong kinds of people needed to know exactly where we were. And look what happened. Word slips out and instantly, an enemy is on our doorstep. Authorities needed to know where their Hokage would be in the worst case scenario. There wasn't anything I could have done. You could have trusted me. To-chan and Ka-chan are fighting. Karen thinks wryly, feeling she really shouldn't be hearing this. Can't we talk about this later? Not in front of our daughter-in-law? I'm not angry that you tried to turn Naruto into the Jinchuriki. Kushina completely ignores him. That power would have done him well. I'm angry that you refused to trust in my instincts and that our son has paid the price for your naivety. Minato's lips purse shut, evidently understanding there's no way of talking Kushina out of her wrath. When this whole thing is resolved, and I hear from Naruto's lips that he has had a good life, and will have a good life going forward, I will forgive you. But for now, I'm going to take my time tearing you and your fellow Hokage to pieces. Out of thin air, the Sandaime appears with Tobirama behind Kushina. A chain manifests out of nowhere, spontaneously appearing and swinging with a vicious fire in its spinning wake. It clubs the two Hokage and sends them flying, their dusty bodies burning into fragments of ash. Karen is caught off guard by the sheer speed of her jutsu. Evidently, she has a long way to go before she could even hope to match Kushina. An upswing of chakra tells her that Minato has entered Sage mode. Hashirama jumps down beside him, also sporting Senjutsu chakra. Sasuke lands beside Karen with Sakura and Do. Kakashi and Neji, having followed the Shodai, also appear next to them, with Kisame wriggling out of a puddle, ready to attack with Samada slung over his shoulder. Kushina actually looks annoyed at everyone. Stay out of my way. She orders openly again, before chains whirl around her at blinding speed with bright flames. The red glow in the cavern pulses like a heartbeat. It reverberates, an echo of powerful energy unlike anything he's felt before. It is potent and consuming, and yet, it doesn't feel unnatural like the foulness of Baiju chakra. He doesn't feel a hint of the Sanbi, which means that's already packed away in the statue. Nor does he feel any trace of the other Baiju he's familiar with. All that there is a mass of tentacles being absorbed quickly into the growling statue. Too late again. Kabuto jeers excitedly from one of the fingers of the statue. This is an ongoing problem for you. Isn't it, Naruto? Always on the scene too late, held back by your desire to protect a broken system while charging ahead into the unknown. Kabuto. I see you. Naruto comments dully. You were a worthy adversary. In another life, I like to think we would have been friends. Obito has the Rinnegan. He checks out the cavern. It appears as though even the environment around the Ghetto Mazo has changed, forming unusual swirls in the rock faces. The only people left to seal the Hichibi are Obito himself, Kabuto and Black Zetsu. Getting sentimental on me? Is this what you're like when you know the end is coming? Kabuto seems off-put by Naruto's words. Merely the regret that I have to kill you now, instead of being a lifelong friend and rival to push me to even greater heights. Do you see me now, Kabuto? No matter what happens tonight, you will not live long enough to see anyone's plans come to fruition. Stop him, Kabuto. Black Zetsu growls impatiently. Kabuto leaps off of his point, rushing at Naruto with all of his Shinjutsu enhanced speed and bearing fangs. His horns glint in the red light and his eyes glare maliciously. He slings himself through the air, pushing off of nothing, and snake-headed limbs erupt from his cloak. Naruto waits. He takes every bite and every slash of jagged claws. Because they mean nothing to him now. The snakes disintegrate instantly after touching his cloak of black flames. Kabuto's arms are reduced to burning stumps and he reels back in fright. What? Kabuto severs his limbs with seal-less medical ninjutsu, giving them an opportunity to regenerate with his unmatched skill in the art. But it's all for naught. He freezes on the spot, unable to move and suspended in the air. Goodbye, Kabuto. I hope your next life is more rewarding than this one, as an enemy of Uchiha Naruto. With one swift motion of his empty hand, Kabuto's entire body collapses into a tiny ball of compressed meat, glowing with what remained of his powerful chakra. Naruto slaps it onto his gunbai, making it glow a blinding white before all the energy contained turned pitch black. Tenbunri Heavenly Separation. With one downward swing, a massive arc of black flame that eclipses the Geto Mazo, cleaves its left arm off and sends Black Zetsu tumbling to the ground with it. Brown liquid pours out of its amputated arm, but it stops before it could bleed its chakra everywhere. Stopped, and then reversed upstream. The detached arm fuses back. Obito smirks, Sharingan and Rinnegan glowing in one hand in a seal. Too bad for you, I always have an ace up my sleeve. Kushios no Jutsu Summoning Jutsu. In Black Zetsu's place, Nagato appears with Konan slung over his shoulder. What? Nagato's Rinnegan look around in confusion. Sorry, Nagato. Kia hey. Black Zetsu's arm melts onto Nagato's back. Obito casts another sign, causing black stakes to erupt all over Nagato's body. Black Zetsu's liquid-like body swarms over Nagato and takes control. Finish the sealing. Obito barks out. I will handle Naruto myself in the face of his incompetence. Hashirama ducks under the pink-haired girl. For such a delicate-looking child, she has a devastating punch, smashing apart everything her fist comes in contact with. If only she were quicker, although. He's forced to create a massive, Shinjutsu-enhanced hand of wood to catch a miniature Baijodama. This Uchiha is fast. What he lacks in strength against Hashirama's Sage Mode, he makes up for plenty in speed and chakra strength. To think that someone had attained this level of synchronicity with the Baijuu, so much that they fight as a single being. It's beautiful. And against his will again, he leaps over a lightning dog running at him and spears it with a wooden stake. The absorption properties of the Makuten completely nullify it. The white-haired one spoke of you three, he roundhouse kicks the pink one in the head, breaking her jaw, though she heals in a snap. You are the ones close to Naruto. Listen, you must seal me. The three of them stay silent, merely continuing to assault him. They already have a plan. I must be distracted, else my body will betray my intention. He backflips over a set of burning claws, stamping on them as he lands and pinning them to the face of the collapsing building with vines from the gaps in his sandals. The Uchiha spits a blue fireball straight in his face in retaliation, though Hashirama backhands it and directs it away with a blast of raw chakra that cracks the already destroyed building and sends it crashing down. Sudden weakness hits him, fluctuating his chakra wildly. What? Nausea assaults his senses. That shouldn't be possible. He's dead. Something overwhelming overcomes his body, like an instant fatigue and hopelessness. Like his body has completely given up. His chakra is gone. The Uchiha is evidently shocked. The three Konohinin leap away as the building collapses on top of Hashirama. A block away by the torn pier, Kisame faces off against the Nidaime Hokage. Conventional combat will be ineffective on my current body. I hope that you know Fuinjutsu, swordsman. You're such a chatty Hokage, ha-hey. Kisame chuckles, albeit with a strained look and some irritation. But Kisame doesn't really know what to do besides keep shredding away. His jutsu speed is too slow to keep up with the Nidaime. All he can really do is fight to a stalemate, putting water between them to buy him a second of life before Tobirama can slice his throat open. Unless Tobirama has strong chakra, being a senju. If he can turn that chakra against him for even a moment, he might gain the upper hand long enough for Karen to seal him. So, he'll exploit Tobirama's jutsu. Suiten, Suiryu Udan Water Dragon Jutsu. Tobirama weaves one sign, and the rain and liquid around him transform into a massive water beast. Kisame whirls Seimata around and round, kiting the water dragon around it and compressing it into a sphere of water. Suten, Daibaka Suishoha Great Exploding Water Colliding Wave. The sphere of dark water expands rapidly. Pillars of water gush from everywhere, sewerways and the lake, even the air around them to create a water prison so massive that it even eclipses the fiery tornado that Kushina set into motion earlier. With Tobirama's chakra virtually distorted and therefore sealed in his water prison, Kisame gets to work before the Nidaime can rush him. Suten, Daikodan Great Shark Bullet. Kisame grits his jagged teeth with desperation. The entire sphere reforms and tsunamis into the shape of a shark, glowing with the power of ambient chakra. As if it has sucked the light out its surroundings into its monstrous mouth. Near translucent lines are drawn in the sky between Tobirama and the shark. Well done. Tobirama praises genuinely. I can't feel my chakra at all, I won't be able to use Hiraishin. Now finish it. The massive shark crashes into Tobirama, absorbing so much chakra that his body flakes and the pale clone used for his resurrection is exposed underneath. The surrounding buildings were collateral damage in their wake. The shark swims across the village, whipping around and causing destruction everywhere, even in the face of the tornado. It moves exactly as a predator of its namesake, before Tobirama's chakra is finally fully drained. Kisame's jutsu collapses. He's exhausted from using that much power, though the chakra he'd stolen quickly transmutes into at least a little of his own, enough to keep standing. The shark, drained of chakra, plummets and floods the city. Tobirama lay helpless on the ground. Karen. Kisame calls out. Swordsman, Tobirama says forebodingly as his body begins to regenerate. I don't think you'll need to. Don't get all tricksy with me, Tobirama-san. Kisame slams Seimata onto Tobirama's chest to keep him immobile. My body is regenerating but I don't feel my chakra. I can't move. Something has changed. Kisame says nothing as rubble around him begins to levitate and the air starts to feel heavy. Neji initiates a kaiden with one of Karen's chains in hand. He slings her forward toward their enemy. He doubts this would work, but they had to try at least. Rasengan. Karen cries out, slamming into the Sundaime Hokage and blowing his chest cavity out of his back. What? That was meant to be a distraction, not actually effective. Sarutobi's entire torso is blown apart. It puts itself back together with the characteristic dust of Edo Tensei, but he remains immobile. A flaw in the jutsu? Hiruzen speculates. No, something is different. Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura appear before them. You guys alright? Karen asks with short breaths, wiping sweat from her brow. I guess. Shodai-sama stopped attacking us. Kakashi dumps Hashirama's immobile body next to Hiruzen. Slightly disrespectful, Neji thinks. But he'll give it a pass considering they probably barely got away with their lives, given the horrid state of their clothing and their open wounds. Even Sasuke appears worse for wear. Kisame appears this time, doing the same with Nidaime-sama's body before collapsing to his knees. Sakura rushes over to him. Where are you wounded? Sakura inspects him. Just chakra exhaustion. Kisame slouches back and rests his back against some rubble. He pokes a floating rock out of curiosity, watching as it floats away. Is this Naruto? Neji activates his Byakugan. The sheer amount of chakra in the atmosphere is frightening. But it's so dark, pitch black even. But Naruto's wasn't this coloration, even using that strange new chakra mode. Naruto and Obito are probably duking it out. Karen falls on her backside, trying to catch her breath. Gravity is part of the power of the Rinnegan. We should seal them. Kakashi instructs. I don't know about any of you, but I won't survive another fight against any of the Hokage. Where is the Ondaime? Tobirama asks astutely. Right here. Kushina strolls up with Minato slung over her shoulder. A fight just isn't the same without hot blood pumping through my veins. Kushina mutters, dissatisfied. She drops Minato down a bit more delicately than her demeanor suggests she would. I've got an idea. Karen opens. I could seal the Hokage in here with the Kyuubi. She pets her stomach. Neji wonders of the validity of such an endeavor. But if they don't have chakra, then surely they couldn't find a way out? Kushina laughs. Did Neji miss something? That doesn't seem safe for you. Please don't put yourself at risk for something that may not work. Hashirama insists. I like you, girl. Kushina compliments with a smirk. Something as harebrained as that would be something I would think of. I agree with Kushina. Minato states robotically, though his eyes glint with mischief. Kushina whips around to glare at him. Minato smiles back. It won't be necessary. Kushina turns back around and approaches Karen. He sees where Naruto gets his height from. Both Yondaime-sama and Kushina-sama are certainly genetic specimens of an interesting variety. Why aren't you affected, Kushina-sama? Neji asks, trying to connect the dots. You're an Edo Tensei, but so are the Hokage. Did I say that you could speak to me, Hyuga? What she's trying to say is that she's not bound to the same thing that we are. Minato translates kindly. Naruto summoned her, but the thing we're bound to has changed. It absorbed all of our chakra but not our souls. Kushina ignores all of this, walking over to Kakashi instead and immediately pulling him into a close hug. Are you alright? She whispers in his ear, uncaring or unaware that she's heard. Yeah, Nei-san. I'm fine. You looked after your little brother? I did, I promise. You took care of yourself? Kakashi hugs back hesitantly. It took me a while, but yeah. And I have more to look after now. Good. My strong boy, I'm proud of you. Now, care to explain why Obito is alive and you don't have the Sharingan? Kakashi looks around at the impatient and exhausted allies surrounding him. Karen, still waiting for an explanation as to what they need to do about the Hokage. Neji, looking off-put by Kushina's rebuttal. Sasuke and Sakura just looking sick of everything and wanting to be anywhere else. Alright. Do you want a quick or long explanation? Quick. Kushina releases him. So turns out your father is Uchiha Madara and he got all said your mother died, so he made a convoluted plan to put everyone in the world under an illusion of eternal happiness by becoming the Jinchuriki of the Juubi and reflecting a genjutsu off the moon. But he couldn't do it himself due to bad hips and dementia, so he rescued Obito and made him assume the identity of Madara, trained him up and had him try to fulfill the plan for him. Madara faked his death again and then got all sad that Obito killed you, so he had a change of heart and raised Naruto with full knowledge of all this crap and taught him how to use his power before he actually died. Obito was pretending to be Madara until recently and he took his Sharingan back, but it's all good because Naruto made me a new eye. Oh, and the Juubi is kinda real and it can only be controlled by someone with the Rinnegan, which is real too by the way. But both Naruto and Obito have it and Obito's kinda got a head start, but Naruto's basically the strongest man alive, so it's kinda fair. K. How do we assist Naruto? Just like that? The people around them chorused. Unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot we can do. Nei-san, I don't want to tell you this, but even you wouldn't be able to help. The best thing we can do right now is to wait for the perfect moment and hope. The pile of Hokage bodies don't move, but the Sandaime still begs a question. Kakashi, what happened in Konoha? What happened to the Sarutobi? Kakashi looks down upon him coldly. Under the rule of the Godime Hokage, Tsunade-sama, traitors to Konoha die a traitor's death. The ground shakes under them, causing some alarm. What now? Karen asks. We still need to do something about this lot so they don't get in the way. Ceiling formally turned inside out. Kushina shrugs dismissively. Stop chakra going in rather than out, they can't be manipulated. Easy. Karen looks at Minato, dumbfounded. Minato gives a sheepish smile back. Yeah, she really does make it sound way easier than it is. But she's better at Fuinjutsu than I am. I'm more of a space-time guy. You should watch, Karen-chan. You might learn a thing or two. Kushina merely waves a hand over Minato, gold chakra spiraling out and making a print on his chest. The signature spiral of the Uzumaki clan is the centerpiece of a slowly expanding network of back-to-front seals in a tight network. It's really a rather basic piece of work, but the mastery of putting it on backwards effortlessly like this speaks of such fine control and expansive knowledge that Karen really is in awe of how easy she makes it look. Minato's own chakra seems to spawn from within him. Maybe the template used for his reanimation remembered how his chakra felt and is instead using natural energy to restore itself quickly. Possibly the perks of being sage, but the chakra of dead people is uncharted territory. It is wholly unlikely that they could test any theories or conclusions they come to. Minato regains control over his movement, setting everyone on guard again. Hey, it's all good. I'm me again, well, dead me. But I'm in control. Kushina punches him in the head, causing the weak skin to flake off before regenerating. I don't suppose telling you that it doesn't hurt right now will stop you from being angry about this? No. It won't. Kushina glares up at him, though she appears more hurt than vicious. I didn't take your warning to heart and made you feel like I didn't trust you, and I wish I could take that back, but I can't, and our son grew up without us because of my mistake. I've got 100 regrets that I can't fix, and I know that nothing I say or do now can help. I'm not resentful of you, Minato, I just wanted you to discard your naivety for the sake of our son. Your trust was abused, but I feel like my trust in you was too. It was my choice. Minato says quietly. If it takes me 1,000 lifetimes to earn your trust, then so be it, but don't think for a second that I'll apologize for doing what I thought was best from the bottom of my heart. Especially when we left our son in capable hands. He gestures to Kakashi, but his eyes don't stray from Kushina. There's no way of knowing if what we wanted was really the best case scenario. So I'm going to accept my mistake, learn from it, and if by some divine miracle we're reborn, I'm gonna damn well listen to you next time. But I'm not going to tell you that I'm sorry when it's our son that went through those hardships, not us. Kushina raises her fist but throws her punch at the last second and an open palm lands on Minato's chest. Just listen to me next time. You wouldn't be you if you didn't make that choice with your heart. I am still angry with you. I never expected an apology, but you will make it up to me in death and make it up to Naruto in what little life we have left. I will. Minato promises. Something rolls from Kushina's lips that is undisguised and genuine. I love you. Don't go breaking my heart again. I won't. I love you. Without warning, the ground and cityscape on the barely visible horizon pop as though something is trying to break out. The 3 Hokage that hadn't been sealed begin to glow. My soul is leaving. Tobirama appears relieved, as much as his stony visage can convey at least. I wish you luck, little saplings. Hashirama's structure begins to melt though his soul rises from it. When you win, don't let my little Tsunade touch alcohol, ever. Make sure the boy she falls in love with knows her place, or so help me. Hashirama shakes his fist threateningly. I can't believe I miss so much. He wails dramatically. Why aren't I going? Minato looks down at himself. I guess you're severed from the control point. Kushina suggests. Regardless, if we're unable to assist, then what do we do? And who's the Uzumaki girl? Karen-chan is our daughter-in-law. You're the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi? Kushina deduces quickly from her chakra. What nation do you belong to? Hi to you too? I don't belong to a nation, I'm just Naruto's fiancée who happens to live in Konoha with him. Am I gonna get the "if you hurt my son you'll regret it" talk? Naruto chose you, and I trust that he has picked his partner well with Kakashi's guidance growing up. Kushina knocks back. It is not my place to argue with his decisions, even if I were alive. His decisions are his to bear, though I hope his faith in you is not misguided or naive, nor yours in him. I do not know him and I do not know you. Perhaps when you're both dead we can introduce ourselves and understand each other. But for the record, my name is Namikaze Kushina. Uzumaki Karen, soon to be Uchiha Karen. I'm too young to be a grandmother. Take your time. Wear protection. No. Karen refuses instantly. Protection is illegal in our house. Kushina throws her head back in a great gale of a laugh. All right. I like you, Karen. As the remaining dust of the Hokage vanishes, the air itself gets thicker. I guess we'll wait now. Kushina sighs. She didn't have to wait long. Black and purple swirls lunge at each other. Virtually blurs to the naked eye, only the coats of the battling warriors could be seen through the dense smoke and rain. From the figure cloaked in black flame, what appears to be white ribbons with a silver sheen launch from his hand. They curl and bend with unnatural accuracy and speed. Everything they crash into reveal what they truly are, a wood that brings white roots and black flowers. A building is virtually terraformed, held up by the white life-giving energies of nature. Black flowers bloom into many petals. The figure in purple manifests skeletal arms to fight hand to hand. They glow a sickly green and burn away when they black flames touch them, but it's a necessary evil when one's flesh is on the line. His eyes change form, and as if shunted forward by the power of space-time itself, he vanishes and reappears with near-instant swirls of air and clubs the figure in black in the chest with his green-clad arms. As though seeing it before it could even happen, the figure in black gives a wide sweep of his weapon, casting a blade of black flame through the air. It slices through anything that it touches. All but the one thing it was supposed to hit. Obito moves through it as though it were merely a phantom. Intangible, an apparition of rancid power and hatred. Naruto is the other side of the coin. Controlled, unlike the fiendish ghost before him. Radiant in energies of the world and the self, something harmonious. His gaze is not marred by hatred, but by a frank determinism of someone with his heart and mind set in stone. Obito glides through Naruto, green ribcage trailing behind him to slam into the younger Uchiha. Naruto vanishes as if he were never there in the first place. Obito looks around in confusion before he's punched into a tower. His body flies through several concrete pillars before he reacts and activates Kamui. What just happened? Obito looks around. Sharingan and Rinnegan darting in every direction to find his foe. He assesses his position in space, using his Sharingan to peer into the Kamui dimension. In his vision, the two realms blend together and he realizes that what he's seeing in reality isn't the truth. Very clever, Naruto. Using Tsukuyomi on the environment to confuse me. Obito grins, seeing through the game. If he isn't aware of where he really is, then he'd probably have ended up smacking into buildings without realizing it. The grin is wiped off of his face when he sees Naruto in his Kamui dimension. What? Obito exclaims, before Naruto pierces him with a wooden ribbon. Your mistake, Obito. Naruto's smile is cocky and confident. Obito reflexively attempts to use Kamui, and to his surprise, it works. He slides out of the white wood with no issue, regenerative cells already at work patching the holes. He got inside my Kamui dimension and hit me, but I shouldn't be able to be intangible in there, so how Obito puts one hand out. Gakido. The chakra of Tsukuyomi is pulled into Obito's palm, rendering the genjutsu unstable and forcing Naruto to cut it off. Naruto doesn't just let him. He vanishes again, gun by whistling through the air in a light with black flame. Obito is hard-pressed to avoid it, even with his mastery of the Sharingan, but manages to by the skin of his teeth. A mechanical arm erupts from his shoulder, whirring as it sparks up Raiden chakra that pulses out. Another arm from the same shoulder grabs Naruto's wrist, metal wires clinking out of the fingers and holding Naruto still for a moment. The charge of Raiden chakra explodes into beams, creating a miniature lightning storm. Ninjutsu may be ineffective alone, but in the face of my mastery of all shinobi arts, a child like you cannot defeat me. Naruto, being electrocuted, quickly reveals himself as a wood clone that unravels into hundreds of ribbons to turn Obito into a pincushion. Obito forces himself intangible again, very quickly approaching his refractory period for overusing Kamui. He floats downward, struck by the sudden sensation of being lighter than he should be. His two metal limbs enter his sight, along with his purple sleeve whisked away by the wind. Of course. Obito's lips turn into a snarl. Tsukuyomi isn't just an illusion, it affects your perception of time. He used it to make me think I had longer to use Kamui when I've been fighting in slow motion this entire time. I thought he'd gotten into Kamui, but he's just been making me think he was. No matter. It won't work twice, this Tsukuyomi and Huken combination. He'd thought Naruto was teleporting, but he's not just moving quickly to his senses. He's freezing Obito in space-time so he appears to teleport when he deactivates it. Naruto may have realized the weakness of Kamui, but even he must have weaknesses of his own. Obito uses ranged Kamui to create a massive hole in a building. It topples over quickly, right on top of Naruto, who merely raises a hand to fling it away. Obito slingshots himself forward again, accelerating his body so quickly that a lesser man would be torn apart by the speed. He floats toward Naruto, activating his right eye's power. Kamui. The chunk of building he'd absorbed is ejected from his eye and sails towards Naruto with spontaneous momentum. Naruto slices through it again, blackening the sky, but Obito weaves around the chunks into Naruto's blind spot. His palms clap together before spreading apart with swirls of darkness between them, forming shuriken in the shape of his Mangekyo pattern. Kamui Shuriken. His three projectiles zip and dart through the air, flight path controlled by his sight. Naruto flies upward, not bothering to use hand signs. Enten, Ryu and Hokage release, dragon flame loud singing. Elongated dragon heads breathe from Naruto's chakra cloak instead of his mouth, making contact with the shuriken. Although the shuriken vanish, so too does Naruto's jutsu. Obito appears above Naruto again suddenly and finally makes contact with the skeletal fist of Susanoo. Useless. Naruto smirks, catching the fist with his bare hand. Senjutsu strength, Obito thinks bitterly. Continuing to be Naruto's best advantage against him, ever since Kabuto unintentionally helped Naruto master it. Obito won't be able to win in his current state. Without Senjutsu, his speed and strength won't be enough to keep up or even really damage Naruto substantially enough that he can't heal from it straight away. He needs old-school tactics, something simple and shinobi-like, just to deter Naruto for a while longer, and maybe one more grand attempt at pinnacle ninjutsu. He doesn't want to admit it, but he has never been pushed this hard. Not even close. Even fighting the Yondaime was child's play compared to the sheer insurmountability of Naruto's power. Raw talent alone does not make one this powerful. Ingenuity and hard work is what has carried Naruto this far. Obito needs to respond in kind. The ground shakes. The Juubi is nearly ready. His right eye changes. Kaden, Hyjin Rambuash and Dust Wild Dance. A plume of smoke is set in motion by the power of Kamui. It waves around, collecting more smog from the fallen city and creating a cloud so thick that even Obito's sharp eyes could barely see through it. Instead of settling, it gusts around Naruto by the power of his left eye. Obito's form lights up green. A skeletal ribcage quickly evolves into something bigger, armored and utterly terrifying. And standing tall above even Amiga Core, Obito uses his perfect Susanoo for the first time. Purple eyes glow above the smoking wreck of a village and two great wings spread majestically. Two lighter green katana hiss to life, a thin black edge decorating the blades. They drag along the ground, absorbing into the edge of the blade and swirls. In one great upward swing, a missile of raw force travels along the ground and absorbs everything in its path, leaving one clean scar through the village and a temporary chasm in the previously undisturbed lake. It fills itself in, creating massive waves, but the water source is lesser after the strike. "The power of your Mangekyo is marvelous," Naruto comments, unrushed and casual as he drifts out of harm's way. Naruto's praise resonates, bringing back a memory from long ago. "Your Sharingan is singularly unique." Madara assesses him unblinkingly, still connected to the statue. "Never have I heard of a Mangekyo that enables space-time control. It would be wise to recover your real left eye. Then that eye isn't so disposable, I'll let Kakashi nurse it for a while until I run out of spares. Your faith in your friend is strong. Kakashi is merely a surrogate. Somewhere to safely store my eye until I need it. I will not stray from bringing peace to this cursed world." Madara's head dips low with a crooked and dark smile. "Good. You are special, Obito." Naruto continues. "But you will find no respite in me." He's enjoying this. "You talk big, Naruto. I am not ignorant of the fact that you can only maintain that strength for so long." As if by prophetic foresight, Naruto's sage mode sputters out of his control. The pigmentation around his eyes fades and the Rinnegan dims slightly. "Don't make me laugh." Naruto howls with a glorious smile. A Rasengan as big as his head blurs into life before vanishing. And in an instant, Obito feels his body expand profusely as his organs grind away. He looks down and spies the giant splatter of blood on his cloak that was once his stomach in pain and horror. Blood keeps gushing out, and Obito gives all of his focus into absorbing the Rasengan before it consumes his entire being. "How?" he pants, almost squeaking when the jutsu clips his lung. Naruto wags his finger. "You should have been paying more attention." The wood. Obito's rage grows, Susanoo slashing madly at the ground. He left a piece of his Makuten inside of me to substitute the Rasengan with. Humiliation and anger is what he feels as his chakra pool drops to heal the extensive damage. Nearly killed by an alteration of the Academy Kawarimi no Jutsu. Now then, Naruto's light blue chakra whirls up around him. As Obito's body restores fully, his Susanoo stands strong to fight head-to-head against Naruto's own. "Let's dance some more." Nagato collapses to his knees, unable to breathe after Zetsu had exploited his weakened body to finish the ceiling. "Kiahei. Soon, Kasan." "What?" The Gedomazo unleashes a howl. The cavern ceiling above it collapses down as a metamorphosis begins. A humanoid mouth turns into something primal and 10 eyes converge into one. Massive tassels of unknown material smack against the cave. Nagato crawls desperately over to Konan, trying to shield the unconscious woman from the tails bigger than the Baiju themselves. Nagato's bones rattle. The creature beyond his comprehension begins to dig up and out. Groog Karen's head perks up. The hairs on the back of her neck feel as though they're sparking. "What do you sense?" Kushina asks with arms crossed. Minato seems equally clueless. It appears that only the living are affected. The end. Kurama growls within her. "There is still time. We can still fix this. Do not give up now, but know you are about to face something of insurmountable power." Nothing, just a bad feeling. A great canyon bursts open under the city, causing a massive shockwave. Karen feels her body droop, as if struck tangibly by the emotion of helplessness. "What is this?" Karen lifts her palm up, feeling an unnatural tingle against her skin, but she can't feel any chakra. Groog, Minato and Kushina stand straight as the others collapse under an invisible weight. "What is that?" Minato breathes out in shock. Baiju-sized appendages begin to crawl out of the chasm. Naruto's Susanoo blades slice in different intervals. Obito is forced to turn his entire Susanoo intangible to dodge, unable to contest the skillful swordplay. They take flight, weaving around each other and timing their strikes carefully. Obito can't land a hit without taking one, so he doesn't. And Naruto can't land a hit without getting absorbed or having his strike fly through entirely. A temporary stalemate. One of them will fail eventually. Of that, both of them are certain. The pale and beautiful moon becomes a bloody and gruesome backdrop to a battered city. Naruto and Obito stop in motion. They can feel something that the others down below can't. Obito feels its immeasurability compared to his own power. Naruto feels something off within nature itself. They're both the most powerful shinobi alive, and yet the pair of them understand that this thing is beyond reckoning. Beyond reason and sense. It is primal. It does not hate. It is the incarnate of destruction. Naruto and Obito turn, Susanoo following suit. The sky is lit by shining blue and sickly green, figures looking at a red moon. And the ten tails cradling it. Its one eye eclipses them. Naruto and Obito stare at the creature. Its chakra permeates the atmosphere, challenging the laws of nature by making things defy gravity, heat up unnaturally, or freezing the rain as it falls. Its eye shifts course. Swishing tails blot out the crimson moon. Every step of its monstrous claws shake the earth, and the ground ripples as though it were the surface of water. Juvenile beast, Obito rasps. It's chasing the rest of its chakra when it doesn't need it. No matter, I'll be putting a collar on it. Obito slings forward, space rippling around him as he vanishes and reappears, getting closer to the hulking demon. Naruto's mid-air speed is hindered by the lack of Senjutsu chakra. He can only move so quickly, blurringly fast to the eyes of people who aren't on their level, but painfully slow and by far enough to reach the Juubi before Obito can. So he sets a different goal: protect the remaining sources of Baijuu chakra until he can work out a plan to defeat Obito and the Juubi. He flies through the air, and hail leaves temporary welts on his skin. In a way, he wishes he could turn off that ability to heal for a moment. Such inconsequential wounds sapping the tiny portions of chakra that could be helpful later. A surge of purple chakra enters his vision. In the distance, Sasuke activates his Nibi chakra mode. The giant flaming purple cat swirls chakra in front of its mouth, creating a dark orb as big as the beast itself. Sasuke and Madatabi fire the Baijuu Dama at the Juubi, a futile effort. The massive chakra bomb goes so far that it virtually vanishes to untrained eyes. The Juubi merely opens its jagged mouth and shuts it over the jutsu, allowing it to explode inside with little more than a puff of smoke from its maw, signifying that it actually went off. Naruto lands with a thundering crash, kicking up dust and leaving a crater in the ground. Naruto. What do we do? Sasuke shouts over the howling winds. Don't let it touch you, stay out of its way and keep Karen safe. Naruto barks back. Obito can't become the Jinchuriki until the Juubi matures into its new life in a short while. The best defense is using your own chakra, not the Baijuu's. Sasuke sends a tendril of chakra down to pluck Karen up and deposit her inside the Nibi's form. Hey! I can help too. I can do both. Sasuke's eyes transform, and the flaming cat is shrouded in his Susanoo. Naruto looks at the remaining crew. Kakashi, Sakura, Neji, Kisame, Tosan, Kasan. They straighten to attention, even as the demon approaches. The only thing that's stopping Obito from becoming the Jinchuriki is the fact that Sasuke and Karen still have pieces of its power, so it has to absorb what it can from nature to replace what it doesn't have yet. Protect them with everything that you have, just buy me enough time to do something crazy enough that'll stop him. Our best bet is the source. Minato announces seriously. The others can flee. I'll fight with you against Obito. How? Flying up against that thing will only get me smacked down. Don't worry about the how, I'll make it happen. Minato had severely underestimated the scale of the Juubi. Initially, from a distance, he'd thought that each of those tails were about the size of a Baijuo. He'd been wrong. The eye itself eclipses Naruto's Susanoo. There is no conceivable way that they could fight this thing head-on. He only hopes that Naruto can think of something to redivide its power and release the Baijuu, maybe shrink the Juubi to a manageable level, or maybe even taking out the person controlling it would be a more effective measure. As they soar through the sky towards the beast, Minato looks at the blue-lit face of his son. Hard with resolve, as if the fight against the beast is an inconsequential hurdle in his path. Focus. Kushina hurls at him, nestle within the jewel on the Susanoo head with him, though Minato realizes that Naruto had said it too. Keep going, Naruto. I'll drag you out of the way of its tails. The air itself feels charged during their flight. Rain and hail pelt the Susanoo and the sound of thunder crackles in the sky, and there is an unbearable heat and humidity. Minato is glad that he isn't really affected by it in his dead state, but he's sure that Naruto is trying to put it out of mind to keep going against the Juubi and Obito. One of the beast's massive tails flicks through the air. Wind howls and tornadoes whip up on the ground from the force. Kushina launches a volley of chains onto the tail, acting as crutches to sling them around it. They all hurl through dense clouds, deftly dodging the tails and making a direct path towards the Juubi's eye. A bright light begins to emit from in front of its jagged, open mouth. "Get ready, Naruto." Minato howls. "Keep going. Ready and attack." Naruto claps his hands together. The black pigment under his eyes returns to form and his coat reignites in black flames. The Susanoo begins to change form. Its arms open up from its middle side, as does the mouth. It expands enormously, back opening as black flames rush to fill the gaps. The armor itself becomes a mask to a titan of Amaterasu. Yellow eyes stand out against the dark visage, and once blue glowing scabbards vanish to be replaced by one great obsidian blade. Its majestic wings become the same, flecking with light blue chakra but still blazing in darkness. It lifts the blade above its head, and gives one downward swing. And in an instant, the Susanoo teleports right above Obito. Tenbunri. The sky is blotted out, and the Juubi's face slips from its body. Holy shit. Karen shakes, feeling the overwhelming chakra of Naruto and the Juubi. His power is approaching the level of the Rikudo. But even that Kurama trails off. Did he kill it? Sasuke can't turn his eyes away from the cataclysmic battle. I fear not. Mutatabi's Susanoo cloaked avatar disaffirms. But perhaps he has bought a little time. The Juubi's head turns into a puddle of brown muck. We can take advantage of this. Sasuke insists. Let's do this, Mutatabi. Right. She agrees readily. Two purple bows take shape where the pauldrons of her armor are. Their arrows are pulled back by each of her tails, heads sparking with lightning chakra. She creates a Baijou Udama in front of her mouth, flaring with blue flames that the arrowheads penetrate with connecting Chidori sparks. All three projectiles launch at once, virtually teleporting across the battlefield with how fast they are, and colliding directly with what is supposed to be the severed face of the Juubi. A bright flash of blue light and heat marks the imminent explosion, and another wave of heat slams into the team. The massive ooze tears apart into ribbons, but instead of rejoining, they soar downward and behind the black veil that Naruto had left behind. No luck. Karen clicks her tongue. Don't you understand? Obito asks incredulously. It's over. Your little crew is dead in the water. The Juubi begins to change form again. The world will know peace. Obito spits out. Who can? The peace of the Juubi trying to reach the ground is halted in motion. More petty tricks to delay fate itself. Obito shakes his head. You really don't get it. A tail slams into the Susanoo, sending it flying, but Minato teleports Naruto and Kushina right behind Obito. How are you doing this? He growls, forcing himself intangible so he doesn't get bisected by Naruto's gunbai. Using both Mangekyo, he creates a small portal in front of himself. Grabbing one of Kushina's chains, he hurls her through and closes it. Minato suddenly appears behind him, though he was ready for it this time. Grabbing Minato's wrist, he tries to absorb him into the Kamui dimension, but Minato vanishes again. Hiraishin. Obito growls. You left a marking on me. He tucks his arm under his coat, ripping away the piece of flesh with the invisible marking on it. The wound heals, but Obito tosses the flesh away. Just you and me, Obito. Naruto blurs straight through him, leaving a trail of black flames. If Obito becomes tangible, he'd be getting burned. He walks casually out of the flames as Naruto's Hukan expires. The root that he'd been using to connect to the Juubi is incinerated, but the transformation continues. The head reforms without its eye and the beast becomes more humanoid. Naruto chases him up to the crown of its head, surrounded by jagged horns. What was once the head of the Juubi is released from its suspension and lands, warping into large roots and a massive trunk with a budding flower at its tip. Suddenly, they keel over with an onslaught of unusual weakness. What are you doing? Black Zetsu rages. Nagato tries to conquer the hold that Black Zetsu has over him, clasping his hand together tightly with teeth grit so tight that his gums begin to bleed. Konan tries peeling Zetsu off of him, tugging with what little strength she has left. I won't let you use me. Each of his hands glow red and blue, melding into a purple with his once hand seal. He closes his eyes, and almost all of his chakra is drank by the jutsu. What have you done? With no chakra to cling to, Black Zetsu is flung from Nagato's body and lands with a wet slap on some rubble. Nagato. Konan fusses over him. I think it worked. Nagato can even breathe deeply with how exhausted he is. I used Madara's eyes to bring imagination into reality. Just like I did to fix my body. Now, no one can control the Juubi. You delay the inevitable. You underestimate Obito's will, and my own. Obito's Sharingan glare with full force hatred at Naruto while his enemy laughs hysterically. That Nagato. How creative. Naruto praises with his signature wicked smile. Naruto's Sharingan maintain their Mangekyo form as his body retains Senjutsu chakra and remains wreathed in Amaterasu. Using yin-yang release to temporarily make it impossible to possess the Rinnegan. Ingenious. Although I wager it was an accident, you damn fool. Obito roars, eyes also changing into Mangekyo form as he charges at Naruto. Massive shuriken eject from his eye, twisting and zipping around to grand foe unpredictability. But Naruto's Sharingan is perhaps as refined as his own. No longer possessing the gift of flight, he ducks and dances around them, eyes darting from one corner to another. The menacing crimson glow leaves streaks of light with his superior speed. Naruto's Susanoo makes its return flight, smashing its black blade against where Obito is meant to be and making another smooth cut in the Juubi's head. This isn't working. I need to take out the problem at the source. Obito quickly senses where the problem has started and devours his body with Kamui. He reappears before the broken red head, whose own Sharingan look up in surprise. Konan flings paper shuriken at him. They sail harmlessly through his body. Fear builds on her face for a second before he creates wooden stakes from his hands to tear her to pieces. Two golden chains appear from the darkness to deflect the attack and a vicious red barrier hisses as the wood burns to ash. A flicker of yellow whisks away Nagato and Konan, and Kushina vanishes as well. Obito's face begins to cramp from the scowling of his raw hate. Minato dumps Nagato and Konan next to the joint construct of Sasuke and Matatabi. Why did you save us? We should kill them. He's unsurprised by both reactions of the Uzumaki. Can you do that again? I felt you'd do something and all of a sudden, neither Naruto nor Obito possess the Rinnegan. Can you do something like that again? Nagato's Sharingan dart around against his will before he manages to focus enough to look at Minato. No. That used up all of my chakra. Why did you do it? Minato asks sternly, aiming his kunai at Nagato. You were my son's enemy. Are you still? The creature that serves Obito, serves another. Madara convinced me to challenge my perceptions, and Black Zetsu has outed himself as forwarding a different goal. This Tsuki no Mi plan. It is a cover for the goal of someone or something else. All of these years, I have worked towards something hollow and false. I wanted to give just the slightest chance that perhaps Naruto could end this before the world ends. I don't believe him. Kushina states openly, charging up a Rasengan. Nagato nods, closing his eyes and accepting the inevitable. Black and purple blurs interrupt before Kushina can kill him. Obito lunges. Naruto kicks to intercept the wooden point. Obito turns intangible again but spins into his own kick, arming his leg with a portion of Susanoo to deflect and counterattack. Naruto shunts his elbow, pushing away the leg with an invisible force, and they both whirl again, one in defense of Nagato and the other aiming to kill. Nagato's trick won't last long, Kasan. Black Zetsu touches the root of the tree that sprouted. His body melds into it, being eaten entirely. The Juubi marches towards the tree. Take me. Take my power. It's all yours. Who said that? Naruto stops, as does Obito. Take my power? Nagato mumbles. No one else seems to have heard it. This is the end, Naruto. Goodbye. Obito smirks, disappearing into his right eye. Naruto flicks the gun by, cleaving off Obito's right arm before he can completely vanish. It lands on the ground, bone and blood visible. No, I'll stop this. Naruto swipes with his left hand and slices Nagato's eyes open. His Rinnegan return, and he launches into the sky in pursuit of Obito. Sasuke is already firing by Jodama in a relentless attempt to pause Obito at the crown of the Juubi's head. Obito takes one deep breath, smiling genuinely as he does so. The Susanoo that Naruto left behind fails to stop him. Nothing can now. He falls flat on his stomach, blood gushing from his wound but too happy to care. He doesn't have enough chakra left to fight. The Juubi begins to swirl like water going down a drain. Naruto substitutes with his Susanoo, bringing down his gunbai in one last effort. Obito acknowledges the pain of being bisected vertically. Too late. Both of his severed halves say mockingly. Karen can't feel anything from the distance, but all of them can see the Juubi get sucked away. Is Obito teleporting so that he can become the Jinchuriki in privacy? Kakashi asks her. No, Karen shakes her head, watching as the red glow of the moon gets brighter. Worse. Naruto is left floating in the air where the Juubi used to be, looking at a pitch-black cocoon. I really must thank you. Your struggle, while futile, has made this victory 1,000 times more worthwhile. The shell shatters like glass. Obito's skin is pale and fresh, his short white hair flicks with a silvery sheen. A monochrome cloak sheathes his body. And his left eye is red, ringed and lined with 9 tomoe, spinning ominously. 10 dark orbs levitate at his back, and a shakujo is his weapon in his left hand. Obito slingshots through space faster than Naruto can react, jabbing a dark rod through his heart. Naruto coughs up blood, desperately swinging his gunbai to attack once more. Obito merely turns his head, left eye spinning faster, and the weapon shatters into thousands of pieces. The rod in his chest breaks and sprouts into more, turning Naruto into a reverse pincushion. With his hands free, he whips up 2 Rasen Shuriken, howling with wind and blaze chakra. He makes a direct impact. Obito is clearly cut, showing that Naruto's Senjutsu can still hurt him, though he shrugs it off and regenerates. You'll be part of this new world. Obito releases Naruto, letting him fall to the cold ground. The Juubi Jinchuriki turns to the tree, and it stares up at the moon with its flowered eye. You think I can't see you, Zetsu? You think you can double-cross me now? He swipes his shakujo into the tree, plucking something out of it. A woman looks at him emotionlessly, faded Byakugan glinting but ultimately powerless. A good attempt. Obito smirks. I don't know what you think you were trying, but I'm the savior of this world. I am its protector, and I will shield it from its own destruction. Don't do this, Obito. You do not know what forces you toy with. Obito ignores Black Zetsu clinging to the woman and tears their souls out with his Rinnegan. No. Zetsu snarls in desperation as his body fades, as does the woman's. At last, peace. The flowering eye whirls once, and Obito casts his final jutsu. Mugen Tsukuyomi. Naruto. Sasuke shouts, sprinting with Mudatabi to where Naruto is about to crash. Oh no, Karen mutters fearfully. Naruto's body sinks into the Nibi, splashing into its chakra and having his fall broken. Naru? Naru, wake up. Karen holds his head and sobs. Naruto's Rinnegan open and blood spurts from his mouth. Just trust me. Naruto moans, barely being able to speak with the urchin-like spikes in his chest. A flash of light turns the night sky into day. Karen limply lets go of Naruto. Sasuke's construct fades away as he stares up at the moon. Kakashi, Neji, Sakura, Kisame, Nagato, and Konan all do the same. Completely stopping and looking up at the moon in a trance. Their eyes all take on the pattern of the Rinnegan. Roots spring up as far as the eye could see. Ribbons sprout from them, wrapping the incapacitated shinobi up into their own little cocoons. Naruto watches painfully as his friends are trapped in the infinite dream. Minato and Kushina rush over to him. You're alive? Kushina cradles him. Oh just hold on. I'll do something. Minato. I don't understand. Minato prods the rods jutting out of Naruto's chest, feeling a cold tingle over him. He's not affected by the genjutsu. Is it because of these? No, Naruto wheezes, puking a bit. I'm not connected to anyone else's chakra. Am immune, to genjutsu. My boy. Kushina delicately hefts him up. Naruto lungs make a ghastly whistle with each labored breath. Till fix sis. He whispers. What? Minato leans in, ear right over Naruto's mouth. Can S still fix this? How do we save you? Kushina holds him tight, trying to mitigate any blood loss while she can. Take me to the tree. Use Senjutsu, break the Shinemi. I can't till it's our last chance. Minato nods, looking at his wife. She nods. Minato grabs her and Naruto and they teleport away, right to the base of the tree. Minato realizes that he teleported to the chunk of Obito's back that once held his Hiraishin marking. Naruto slurs. Yeah, we're here Naruto. On the route. What do we do? Braktish, Rasen. Sage Muode. That'll kill you. Kushina nearly swears, cutting herself off and trying to maintain composure. I'm dead anyway. Duet. If this doesn't work, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry my son. Minato quickly enters Sage mode. Rasengan. Obito feels slivers of the Nibi and Kyubi chakra reunite with the tree and himself. At last. Obito breathes in the quiet air, unmarred by a war in the perpetuity of hate. There is a disturbance. He chalks it up to ninjutsu decomposing and dismantling itself. Probably Naruto's Susanoo fading away as the boy slips into his last sleep. I think I'll wait until all of your chakra is back with me, where it belongs, before I join you in peace. Is that okay with you, world? Obito chuckles morbidly. Nothing can answer him. Just to be sure, he'd wait until he's bled everyone dry before he sees Rin again. The sound of a quake reaches his ears. The air itself around him shifts unnaturally. No. Obito laughs again. No. It's impossible. I've won. He chances a glance down towards the sound. The tree is sinking. into a frail body, guarded closely by two dead souls. No. No no. I'm the savior. I am the winner, Naruto tilde. Naruto wakes up to a world of darkness, illuminated only by a dim light the same color as his chakra. I'm dead? In a manner of speaking, young Naruto. He looks down at himself, seeing no injuries. What do you mean by that? You stand at a crossroad. You may choose to live on and fight what your kin has brought on upon the world, or you may choose to let your soul move on and rest. Both are acceptable choices. I'll make whatever choice I please, regardless of what you're providing. He turns to face the speaker, who's floating in a meditation pose. You are Rikudo Sennin? The man, Aurelian nods. He holds himself up with dignity. I must apologize to you, young Naruto. My mistakes have culminated into this conflict, in which you and countless other lives have been caught. I confess myself surprised that your kin has fixed my point of concern. My kin? You mean Obito? I do. Your keen intellect has already foretold that Mugen Tsukuyomi is no mere genjutsu. It's a mechanism in which souls are bled of their identity and turned into abominations. Obito has killed the weakened progenitor but will soon find himself with a problem he did not foresee, nor had the wisdom to divine it for himself. Mugen Tsukuyomi will keep working, even if Obito tries to stop it. Naruto theorizes. He can deactivate it, but that'll go against his goal. He's too far gone to have a change of heart. Yes. I'm afraid so. He clings to the fantasy of Mugen Tsukuyomi, and he will lose everything because of it. My mother Kaguya may be out of the picture, as your kansei, but the worst has yet to pass. Naruto looks around and sighs. Where are we? In a place outside of time and space, where only ascendant souls can reside until they are needed once again. I have stayed here so that I might pass on the knowledge to one like yourself, necessary to protect the world in instances such as this. Do you understand me, descendant of mine? I do. And I will stop this. I'm going to let humans decide their own fate. Hagoromo smiles at him. You do me a great service, even if that is not thine intention. What will happen on the outside? I only guessed as to how I might be able to stop the key from turning. When you awake, you'll be the Jinchuriki of the other half of the Juubi, the part not sealed within Obito. With that power, you'll be capable of things beyond even your comprehension. You'll be the most powerful being who has ever walked this world. And you're okay with that? Trusting that power to a human? The trials and tribulations you have faced until now have shaped you into a person that I believe will do what is in the best interests of humanity. Your children say the same thing about you. That you had good intentions, but that turned awry. How can you be certain that I will not make the same mistakes? I cannot. I am not so wise that I am omnipotent. But it is as you said yourself. I wish to let humans decide their own fate. This struggle is beyond my time in the world. It is now yours. Naruto nods, feeling as though he understands more about the Rikudo now than he'd ever speculated before. Rest in peace, Rikudo. I'll handle it from here. Naruto's body begins to fade. I thank you, Naruto. May your victory be swift and just. Minato and Kushina reel back as Naruto's body puts itself back together. It worked. Kushina goes limp in relief. He's changing, look. Naruto's eyes open. A dark smile crosses his face, laughter bubbling out. Obito stops in place. Against his will. He's clubbed in the head by a staff, one tipped with a moon-like shape in Naruto's right hand. Truth-seeking orbs float at Naruto's back. His hair is white now, same as Obito's, flecked back behind his head but still with an unnatural sheen. His skin is white too, though not as shiny as his hair. A once black coat turns white, collar flattened down and a dark bodysuit underneath. Two eyes glare back at him, above a contrarian inhuman smile. They're purple still, though 6 tomoe whirl around in each. It's last call, Obito. Want to dance before the bar closes? I am done trying to save you. You're a lost soul. It is time I put you to rest, boy. Obito roars and teleports in front of Naruto. Naruto is already swiping his staff, catching Obito's own and punting the other Jinchuriki so hard that his body is sent crashing through a mountain in the distance. I can't turn intangible? Obito thinks dimly. No matter. Just because he has too much chakra to turn intangible now, doesn't mean that Kamui itself isn't more powerful. He absorbs the entire broken mountain into his eyes and creates dozens of portals, sending the pieces at Naruto and creating a massive field of raining rocks. Naruto merely waves his staff again, uttering his jutsu. Senpu, Inten Kyu in Sage Art, Yin release absorption. In a heartbeat, the chunks of rock vanish. Their shapes appear as glowing outlines on the ground. Chibaku Tensei. Naruto creates a flurry of dark energy, picking up boulders the size of whole villages. Each portion of the chakra creates its own satellite, and the rocks that were sealed in the ground are suddenly released and increase the size of the meteors again. Obito absorbs a few of them with his ranged Kamui to use later. Senpu, Makuten, Shinsasenju. The shorter-haired one between them recreates Hashirama's ultimate jutsu. It's twice as large as even the Shodai could create. Each head of its inner golem fire off ninjutsu of the 5 basic chakra natures, though the jutsu themselves are far from basic. He then reads the wooden construct in his Susanoo, creating a huge green glow. Some of its hands sprout massive Kamui shuriken, and Obito creates a portal to eject the meteors. Using the Rinnegan, he accelerates them with the ease of his gravitation powers. Naruto meets the challenge. He creates his own Susanoo, though this time its size matches even this monster of a jutsu. As before, it takes the form of a humanoid of black flame and light blue armor. Its great sword slashes once, pulverizing anything in its path. Huken. Naruto freezes many of the flying projectiles, turning them around and sending them straight back. Holes are left in Obito's armored creation. The two constructs duke it out as Naruto and Obito eject from their positions to fight head-on. No words left for each other. Only battle. Obito takes a deep breath. Senpu, Ranten Koga Sage Art, Storm Release Light Fang. A bright purple light streaks across the sky. Naruto activates Huken again, making the light bend around him. He counters. Senpu, Inten Sage Art, Yin Release Lightning Dispatch. Obito shields himself with the malleable orbs, using Kamui to vanish while Naruto thinks he's attacking. He gets behind Naruto silently, arm aimed to reclaim the power that Naruto has stolen. Another head appears out of Naruto's hair. Senpu, Ranten Koga. The other head tears Obito's Shakujo in half while he barely escapes being split in two again. Obito opens a portal, which is quicker than fleeing by Kamui itself. He floats through and closes it behind him. He looks down at Konoha, riddled with roots and pods. Naruto is there on the other side waiting for him. Obito can barely get through another portal as Naruto keeps up a relentless onslaught of taijutsu. He didn't even have anything to substitute with. Did he do it with the air itself? Senpu, Dashakuja Sage Art, Mudslide. Obito spits out dense mud that chases Naruto around rather than just falling. Naruto reacts without fail, pushing his advantage. Senpu, Futonra Sen Shuriken. Naruto throws the shuriken, and glides through the mud as though it were paper. It does the same, chasing Obito around of its own will. Naruto follows up with more. Senpu, Hitoi him a terrible scream. Naruto roars and it resonates with the Rasen Shuriken's noise. Horrid screeching echoes across the world. Obito covers his ears and surrounds himself in the truth-seeking orbs. And in an instant, an arm is speared through his heart. Naruto blurs into existence before him. No, Obito gasps, feeling all the Juubi's power drained from him. Yes. Naruto smirks. His hair stays white, even as he is drained completely. His skin returns to normal but his Sharingan, for the first time, deactivates entirely. He can't move. It's over. Minato and Kushina look on in awe at their son as he floats down to them, holding Obito by the scruff of his neck. Empty eye sockets are what they see when they look at the former Juubi Jinchuriki. Naruto drops Obito at their feet, and proceeds to carve away repeatedly with his staff until there is nothing left of him, finally releasing all of his anger at once. There is no physical trace that Uchiha Obito's body ever even existed. Naruto had even chased down the severed right hand, just to make sure everything is gone. It's done. Naruto looks up at the moon. It's finally over. What now? What can we do? Minato looks hopefully at his son. Now? Why don't we catch up on what you missed since you were dead before I make my decision on what to do with this power? A decision? I need to make sure nothing like this happens again. I met the Rikudo while I was dead. He opened. Possibilities. Kushina bundles Naruto up in a hug. How about I start by telling you that I love you with every fiber of my entire being? That sounds nice. Do it again. The three share a final triumphant laugh. The sun had long since risen after they were finished. I guess it's time for us to go. Kushina assesses her glowing body, realizing that she's reached the closure she needed to pass on. Naruto, Minato drags him and Kushina into one last hug. I am so proud of you. You've saved the world and accomplished so much more than I ever could have dreamed. It's not just what you've achieved. Kushina melts into the hug. You're our son, and I hope that you know that no matter what has happened or will happen, we will always love you. Goodbye, Tosan. Kasan. I hope I can live up to what you say from here on out. They smile one more time, and they finally move to the Pure Land. Left all alone in the world, he has to make a choice. He only hopes it's the right one. Naruto looks up at the moon and claps his hands together. Uchiha Menma is not a prodigy. It is a fact he acknowledges and understands, because that's what everyone tells him, so it must be true. People always regale him with tales of his dad, how powerful Uchiha Naruto was at this age. That Oyagi had fought off an invasion when he was 13 and gone off to kill traitors that were too strong for even the goddamn Hokage. Menma isn't like his prodigious big sister and brother. He struggles with shinobi arts, and sometimes it feels like the only people that care about that are the ones that are closest to him. Oyagi, Ka-chan, his sister Ichika and brother Habaki, Sasuke Oji-san, even Fujita-sensei. Everyone who points out his struggles to climb up the ladder are the ones who have the least to gain from him being strong. And sometimes it hurts. He has the unconditional love of his family, but it's as though those on the outside expect more of him than they do. So, he skulks to the training grounds where he knows Oyagi is slacking off, just to ask what to do, what the secret is to getting stronger. Oyagi looks his way. The way Menma understands it, his dad can feel someone a whole nation away. He's been told that he's very easy to sense but hasn't really gotten an explanation for it. Maybe some people don't know why? Menma. Oyagi smiles, his one visible eye sporting the Sharingan, shadowed by the angular hat on his head. Oyagi, what the hell do I do? Menma blurts out quickly. About? You crushing on someone? He asks wryly. What? No. I wanna get stronger. Dad leans back against the tree a bit with Menma still hovering over him. Stronger? You're plenty strong, Menma, don't be too hard on yourself. Fujita has been telling me about how well you're doing in your D ranks and teamwork. Of course sensei would say that, Oyagi. He looks up to you and he doesn't want to disappoint you, and I don't want to disappoint you either. Oyagi straightens, looking a bit confused. What's brought this on? You've never disappointed me. I see how hard you work and train, you've got clear goals, you operate very well in team environments, and you're my son who I love very much. Why would I ever be disappointed in you for your skills and character? You haven't been comparing yourself to your siblings, have you? They're like you and I'm not. Yeah, I was a bit of a pain in the ass at your age. It's probably a good thing that you're not trying to start wars. But I want to be strong too. I'll give you a tip then, because it's pretty obvious to me why you're feeling like this. Stop caring what other people think. If you want to be strong for the sake of being strong, then train your guts out for it. Don't do it for the sake of gossiping losers who don't have anything to gain from supporting or deriding you. The expectation that you're gonna disappoint someone is only going to hold you back. I can't help it, Oyagi. Menma sulks. Everyone wants me to be like you and I want to be like you too. Naruto rests back again and sighs. How long has this been on your mind? You know that you can come to me anytime if you need help? I didn't want to bother you at work. PFFT, my job is easy. I've got a clone in the office right now doing all the boring stuff. And I didn't want Fujita-sensei to be upset. Fujita knows that he can't teach you how to fight like an Uchiha, that's why I'm here for whenever you need me. Menma feels a thrum of warmth. He never feels disregarded when he talks to his family about stuff like this. Oyagi takes him seriously. He won't be mad then? If I get you to train me instead? No, of course not. He out of everyone knows what it's like to be in someone's shadow and feel like you've got expectations to live up to. He moved past it and made his own path. I do expect, however, that you take your drills and missions seriously. Yeah. Yeah. Let's train. Hold your horses, we haven't assessed which areas you're lacking in yet. You must study yourself with the same intensity that you study the shinobi arts as a whole. What's the biggest thing that you think is holding you back? Menma thinks hard. He has always struggled with ninjutsu, taking days at a time to just be able to use it, let alone master it, and he's not very fast with it either. Similarly with genjutsu, he always fails to maintain a strong connection with other people's chakra, being thrown off easily, especially during the academy days before he was a Jonin. His taijutsu is pitiful for the son of Uchiha Naruto. Hyuga Sara had destroyed him with her Juken because he'd been too slow. I guess. Speed and genjutsu? Take me through your line of thinking for reaching that conclusion. Why speed and genjutsu? Well, I'm really slow at hand seals, so I can't use ninjutsu in a fight before someone else, so I don't have that advantage. My taijutsu is slow too, even though I have the Sharingan. I can see people moving but I'm too slow to react to it. And genjutsu I suck with the Sharingan. Menma looks down at his still-seated dad, who nods as he goes through his points. Logical thinking, unfortunately marred by a lack of understanding as to what your body is really capable of. The best way to address a problem is to look at the root of all of these. I feel like I have neglected your training when you've asked me, so I'm sorry. I'll fix it now. Oyaji stands up and makes a hand sign. Out of Dad's body spouts a miniature Naruto. This is me, when I was your age. You don't keep up with fashion trends, huh Oyaji? Oh son of mine, your bark is louder than your bite. Pay attention, I'm going to walk you through how to understand what you're doing wrong. Spar with Minimi. Menma activates his Sharingan, flecks of his eye-length red hair parting out of his face. He immediately goes for the first hand sign of Gukaku when Mini-Dad blurs and grabs his hands, kicks him in the stomach and sends him tumbling backwards. Oyaji. Stop whining. Assess the encounter while you can. What did your opponent do? You stopped me before I could use ninjutsu. Correct. How? With taijutsu. Good. What could you have done instead to counter? Use taijutsu too? Yes. Taijutsu is the art of physical combat using hand-to-hand or weapons. And taijutsu prowess changes in accordance with technique, strength, power and speed. Which, to a shinobi, is affected by chakra control? Naruto smiles down at his son. Now, let's do that again with genjutsu. I want you to ask yourself the right questions this time. If you come to the same result that I do, then you'll know what to do for the rest of the basics too. Menma tries to wrangle the wood clone under his control with the Sharingan, but it virtually slides off and again, he gets punished with a retaliation. Genjutsu. What's the first question? There's only one question, I guess. Genjutsu is affected by chakra control. Very good. Your issues in power are stemming from one basic factor. You've assessed yourself and your level of strength, so how do you go about fixing it? I need to do a lot more chakra control exercises. You're very clever, Menma. Don't underestimate yourself. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret that the people saying bad things about you don't know. Naruto pokes Menma's chest. You have more chakra than I did at your age. The more chakra you have, the harder it is to control it. You let yourself get swept up in gossip and didn't give yourself enough credit. You figured out the problem, figured out how to fix it, and have the drive to fix it too. Fujita-sensei was right, Oyaji. You're a good teacher. I hope I'm a better dad than I am a teacher? Menma jumps on him and hugs him. Naruto chuckles. I'm proud of you my boy, don't ever forget that. Hyuga Sakura is a happy woman. It is a fact she acknowledges and understands, because it's something she has earned and is happier for it. After the fight to save the world, they'd awkwardly stumbled slowly into getting to know each other better. Neji had been attentive and Sakura had been fearful, unsure of relationships in general, but Neji's kindness and compassion had slowly won her over into looking at things differently, outside of childish crushes. They had struggled a bit to conceive, but when they did, Hyuga Sarah came screaming into their lives with hearty lungs and bubbly laughter. Menmo has been weird lately. Sarah comments at the breakfast table, he isn't being bullied is he? Sakura asks with concern. Not just for Menma, but for anyone dumb enough to bully him with a family of Uchiha ready to tear anyone who might dare to try apart. Nah. Just being real secret. I never see him anymore. A part of her is mightily proud that their daughter had achieved Rookie of the Year, despite Naruto's youngest being in the same class. And as ashamed as she is to admit it, also proud that even Menma couldn't beat their daughter in spars, although that is tainted by the fact that Naruto's boy seems to have some difficulty in learning in the way of practical shinobi arts, despite his clear gifts academically. Still, out of Naruto's kids, Menma is the one that takes after Naruto the most. Just out of sheer drive alone. Well, if you're not careful then Menma might just overtake you. His dad was the same at that age, keeping things to himself and then pop. Turns out he was stronger than most jounin. Sakura subtly pushes her to keep up her training. Nah, Menma is a complete dunce. Sarah insists, though the tone wasn't malicious, she could still feel the casual disregard for someone she went to the academy with. That is not how you should speak about your friends. It's disrespectful, you should be encouraging him. She scolds. Whatever mama. It's not like he's on my team or anything. Still, just be careful with what you say. You don't want him to take it personally. I know what it's like to not be very good at the practical side of things and feel like you're being left behind. I get it. Sarah whines in exasperation, making Sakura roll her eyes. You were on a team with Hokage-sama and Sasuke-sama, yeah, cool. Gotta go now, bye mama. Sakura watches her daughter disappear in a rush out the door. Keep training for the Chunin exams. She shouts after her. She picks up the unwashed plate. That girl. She shakes her head. Uchiha Sasuke is a busy man. It is a fact he acknowledges and understands, because Naruto won't shut up about him taking a break and spending more time with his family. He had to admit, he was surprised that Naruto had gone so far to ensure that nothing like that would ever happen again. He'd redivided the Juubi and let the Baijuo roam free. Naturally, this caused a geopolitical disaster that Tsunade had quickly shunted off onto Naruto as soon as he'd recovered. The other nations were always scrambling to capture them again, so Sasuke felt that the responsibility fell to him to keep tabs on the Baijuo and make sure that they weren't going to be used to cause mass destruction, not on Konoha, but the rest of the world. Konohagakure doesn't have to worry about being caught in crossfire. The world is already too scared of Naruto to make a move on the village, but many innocents die in the path of people learning to control their Jinchuriki powers, so Sasuke and Matatabi make sure it's contained to the respective village that finds the Baijuo. Naruto had figured out a way to outright dismantle the Geto Mazo and turn it into natural energy, flung across the world so far that the air itself had fragments of its power. But such a result required an equal sacrifice. Naruto had used the remaining power of the Juubi to destroy the possibility that anyone could ever possess the Rinnegan. Now, even with the right genes, no one could ever reconstruct the Juubi or create a new disaster on the level of Mugen Tsukuyomi. After that, Naruto had been bedridden a whole year. So he, Karen and Sakura, all closely guarded him and nursed him back to health when he was on the brink of death. It had been 2 years before Naruto could even walk on his own, and shortly after, Naruto and Karen had gotten married and had their firstborn, a daughter named Ichika, for which he became the proud uncle of. And as was Sasuke's desire, Naruto had sent him off out into the wilds to go on with his goal. He'd not given much thought to settling down, preferring to be active and in pursuit of anything that might be a new goal, just something to do so he doesn't get bored. Anbu had become a bore long ago, well beneath his class of mission. So he goes exploring a bit, finding rare and esoteric knowledge about the ones who were here before, ancient ruins dating back to before even the Rikudo's time. To make sure that the Rinnegan wasn't the only method to bring about destruction. And he was happy to come across nothing. But he'd prefer if he'd been coming across nothing on his own, in peace. Not with Nissan. When are we gonna stop? My legs are tired. Patience and persistence are virtues, Tsukimi. That's still not an answer. Tsukimi had thankfully taken Sasuke's and her parents' advice about avoiding shinobi life. She'd insisted that she wanted to be just like Nissan, but capitulated in the end when she'd found an interest in digging up rocks with words on them. Archaeology, in other words. And Sasuke is actually grateful for her help. While they hadn't found anything relating to threats per se, her research had been invaluable to scholars across varying fields in Konoha. Primarily historians trying to catalog what the age of Ninshu was like. Tsukimi had nearly been brought to tears when he'd told her that Naruto had destroyed a priceless artifact in the Uchiha's possession. The whining from a grown woman and wasn't that quick? Does get on his nerves from time to time, but there are few people he would trust with her safety on potentially dangerous excavations and adventures. It's why she finds the valuable stuff. Because he's here to stop her from falling into pitfalls and traps left by people of the past wishing to preserve artifacts. Uzumaki clan ruins were the main offender for that. Figures. So. The port town is just ahead, Tsukimi. Not that. When are you bringing your girlfriend home? Sasuke refrains from vocalizing his annoyance. He instead tries to think what anyone else would do in the scenario. Turn it around. What makes you think I've got a girlfriend? Why not a boyfriend? Tsukimi stops, sucking her lips in and stuttering. Wait, I didn't know Nissan likes boys? She spots what must be visible laughter in his eyes and immediately turns cross. Screw you. I remember my first joke too, geezer Nissan. Was it your life? Tsukimi pushes him, ignoring his chuckling and storming past him with hurried steps. And Tsukimi. Soon. She turns around and walks backwards, doing a little skip. Really? Those hickeys aren't just a roll in the hay? I'll be sure to tell Kin that you thought she was just a roll in the hay. Kin? Watch where you're going, asshole. Sasuke looks down at the woman. Straight black hair propped out of her face by a Konoha headband. He doesn't recognize her, but she seems familiar with Jiraiya, who'd he'd come to for tales of the Rikudo, something that might help his search. He doesn't have time for this. He walks past her and towards the old man, who's languidly resting in a soft chair on a porch in the Senju compound. Hey! Don't ignore me. Kin-chan. Jiraiya looks a bit sleepy but smiles. Don't go bullying my apprentice now. I don't care if he's your apprentice, he knocked into me and I want an apology. She hadn't left him alone since. But it all worked out in the end, in a way. They're happy in their own little bubble, taking some kind of refuge in each other. His friends had been supportive, there's no keeping secrets from them. But they hadn't even remembered the little team that Jiraiya had convinced to turn coat during Orochimaru's invasion of Konoha. It's really hard to keep her out of his head these days. She just keeps worming her way into his head. He'd been very awkward about it to start with, asking everyone close to him what he should do to explain his affection to her and court her. Bang her. Jiraiya recommends, before getting hit over the head by the aging Tsunade. Why don't you ask her out on a little date? If it goes well, you can ask her out again? Shizune is more delicate. Kakashi doesn't say a word with feminine glares pinning him down to prevent him from suggesting what Jiraiya did. Bang her. Naruto has no such filter or fear. Sakura slaps her forehead and groans. Yuito and Himari don't even give him the chance to ask, merely pointing out and teasing the love bites on his neck. Muratabi looks at him like he's an idiot for the first time he can recall. After all, what does a Baijiu know of human courting rituals? Is this what romantic love feels like? He doesn't quite get it yet, but he's willing to try. As soon as this menace he's dealing with right now stops asking invasive and probing questions. Uchiha Karen is living her best life. A 2-year waiting period of anxiety and stress had passed. Things only went up from there for her. Doing what makes her happy, being a mother and wife. Things were bleak for a while. She thought that the choice that Naruto had made could have been the wrong one for them. She was sure that she wouldn't be able to cope if he died. But that's now in the past. In the present, she's a busy woman. Ichika and Habaki are about ready to leave the nest. They'd always been pretty independent, but that's about as much as they got from their dad besides his talent. Sure, she still puts her shinobi skills to good use. Her 2 eldest can be a handful. But they know to fear the righteous anger of an Uzumaki woman. Kasan, you don't have to keep packing me bento. Ichika is very much unlike her and Naruto. She has the family values that they'd instilled in her since she was young, but her personality isn't quite as lively or serious as her parents. Her smooth black hair nearly reaches her ankles now. Dark gray eyes look down at her fondly. She's a bit taller than Karen herself. Still, Karen worries that Ichika doesn't take things seriously enough. She's gifted, very gifted. But she spends more time socializing than she does training. Networking can be a valuable tool for learning from different people, but ignoring your studies just because you pick things up quickly is a surefire way to get caught off guard. Maybe things are just too different now, but that shinobi instinct in her wants her kids to be a bit more ready for the dangerous world. There's always someone stronger. And it could be an enemy. If I don't pack it, then you're not going to eat. How are you gonna cope when you move out, huh? Before Ichika can answer, thumping footsteps come down the stairs in a slow crawl. Habaki looks very much like his dad. A bit shorter, and with shorter and less wild hair. Dark circles under his eyes are not from training too hard. They're from spending all night up with his friends chasing skirts. I better not see some hussy up there again. Karen pins him down with a glare. Habaki has gotten good at barrier ninjutsu, just for the sake of hiding his escapades from her senses. Kasan. He mumbles lazily. Eat, you've both got missions today. And take your bento with you or so help me. They both nod hastily, fearing her wrath. Bursting through the front door is their most recent spawn. Kachan. I need food. Please. Menma is direct, like his father. Tall like his father. So self-driven and disciplined, like his father, and inherited the exact same prankster mentality that his father has. It's almost like looking at a mirror image of Naruto at that age. Only with red hair, not black. And a little less self-assured due to his struggles with controlling his immense chakra reserves. Something has given him a bit of faith in himself in the past few weeks. Maybe Naruto has given him a few tips? Settle down, it's too early for noise. Habaki groans, taking nibbles of his breakfast. You can eat Habaki's since he wants to eat like a hamster. Ichika suggests, getting a dirty look from Habaki. Good idea. Menma takes it seriously and goes to snatch the plate. Habaki lifts it above his head. The quickest he's moved since he woke up. Oi. Get your own. This is mine. You're not even eating it. Kachan. Come here Menma. I'll make you something. Just be patient, okay? Karen offers gently. Okay. Menma gives Habaki the stink eye, who just looks back vacantly and boredly. I dunno why I can't have his though. It's not like it's gonna cure his crabs. Ichika stifles a laugh and Habaki narrows his eyes. Just sit down. Karen puts an end to it, or tries to. Menma just happily lets Ichika know all about his morning. She listens patiently as Menma explains that he's been training, but refuses to give away any detail as to how when he's prodded. Apparently, he's learned Naruto's infuriating evasiveness. You know you can come to us if you need help, don't you? Uchiha is delicate, knowing it's a bit of a sore spot for Menma. That's okay. I got it figured out. I'm gonna be stronger than you too soon. As if. Habaki mumbles, just to tease if the glint in his eye is anything to go by. Menma's eyebrow raises and he gives an exaggerated frown, as if to say, you really wanna do this? Habaki returns it, but stops when an eerie expression crosses Menma's face. The boy wore a smile. One of nightmares. One of pure evil, and as soon as Karen places a bowl in front of the boy, he and the food vanish. To be replaced by a civilian girl half naked and braiding her hair. Karen recognizes the sheet covering the girl's body. It's from Habaki's bed. Uchiha makes a quick act of disappearing as Karen draws a frying pan like it's a weapon of war. Senju Fujita is a patient man. It's the way Naruto-sensei taught him to be. It helps him in his goal of doing what Naruto did for him, giving children of Konoha the right tools to be ready for a dangerous world. He'd always wanted to be a sensei. He'd even been prepared for the inevitable difficulties. Some kids just need a bit more attention than the others. And if he does say so himself, he's pretty good sensei. But sometimes he doesn't feel adequate when he doesn't get the results that he expects of himself when teaching. He brings this up to his girlfriend when he's feeling a little down. Don't stress so much. Minako says over a mouthful of dengo. It's not as though kids like Menma don't have more than one teacher. I mean, look at Naruto Niazan. He learned from everyone he could, his Gigi, my dad, Jiraiya-sama. He even learned from his enemies if you count the Sharingan teaching him. I dunno, I mean, Naruto-sensei trusted me enough to teach Menma. I don't want to let him down. Oda-san probably felt the same. Minako says nostalgically. Honestly, Naruto Niazan was a force when he wanted to know something. But just be proud that he's taking initiative. People learn in different ways. Menma's just like his dad. He picks up on things, even when he doesn't want to. It could just be a single word that you won't say to him that he'll use as a clue to help himself. And besides, Menma isn't your only student. Don't go neglecting the other two. I'm not, I just hoped that Menma would bring it up to me so I could do something about it. Minako doesn't dismiss him, but doesn't really help either. And I kind of hoped he'd be ready for the Chunin exams coming up soon. I know he'd been feeling a bit in the shadows of his siblings. Minako starts to smile like she knows something he doesn't. The Chunin exams? Oh ho ho ho. That explains it. What? What does that explain? Fujita is confused. You were a bit sheltered back then, but did Naruto ever tell you about his Chunin exams? Fujita tries to think back, but no. Naruto hadn't really brought it up. Nisan's Chunin exams were when he revealed that he had the Sharingan. That's so cute. Menma just wants to surprise you with something. That's it? Fujita is disbelieving. I've been stressing just because Menma wants to do something big like his dad? I dunno. Minako states with inappropriate cheer, making his face fall flat. Before he can respond, they're interrupted by a few guests of his team. Fujita stands up to make room. Kakashi-san. Shizune-san. Jiraiya-sama, Tsunade-ba-sama. Fujita dips his head politely. Mama, Fujita-kun. No need for that. Kakashi waves it off. Come here, knucklehead. Tsunade pulls Fujita into a hug. This is where you were hiding? Shizune asks her daughter. Not hiding, more like listening to Fujita complain about Menma not liking him anymore. Fujita sputters. Menma-chan, huh? Jiraiya gets whimsical. That brat actually. Hush, Jiraiya. Tsunade wags her finger at him. You know something? Fujita asks. Nah, I'm just reminiscing. I've seen him running around the village like a madman. Boy can't keep still, always has something on his mind. Menma-chan is just like his papa Minako-ku's. The harassment being one thing he has in common. Tsunade reveals. Honestly. He's been at our compound nearly once a week to try and harass our son into telling him about the Makuten. The Makuten? I think I would have noticed if Memna had visited. The fact that you didn't means that either you're not paying enough attention or he's advancing very quickly all of a sudden. Although knowing him, he's just figuring out his dad's weaknesses to ambush him. Shizune puts a stop to all the shinobi talk. Are we interrupting? What? Oh, no Shizune-san. I was just taking a quick break before I find all of my students for our first C rank. Well, you must be quite confident in those munchkins if you think they're ready for that. I am. Fujita states firmly. Despite his team having its share of problems like any other, he doesn't doubt that they're ready. Well, Good luck Fujita-kun. Shizune bids him farewell with a kind smile. Have a safe day, Shizune-san. Everyone. Fujita dips his head respectfully again, before making a quick turn to kiss Minako and vanishing. Bye. Minako whispers to the air fondly. Hoshigaki Kisame giggles at the freaked out looks he gets from the Jinan squad. He. I've seen those eyes before. You must be Naruto's boy. The little redhead looks surprised. Kisame-sama. The team sensei isn't afraid, but in awe. Aw shucks, if I'd known I'd have guests, I would have prepared some beds. My apologies for the short notice, Kisame-sama. Would it still be okay if we stay in your cabin tonight? I'm happy to compensate you nonsense. I'm happy to have some company once in a while. Come. Leave your sandals at the door. The pouring rain and harsh winds wouldn't be good for this lot if they tried to set up a tent. Now, what brings you to my humble seaside abode? We're actually on a missing person search. We were commissioned by the current Mizukage to find Hozuki Suigetsu. It's rumored that he managed to escape the prison containment that Orochimaru kept him in years ago, but his brother misses him very much. Ah, so Mangetsu is the Mizukage? Good on him. Moving up in the world. Are you really Hoshigaki Kisame? The redhead bounds up to him, fear forgotten. That's me. Kisame confirms with a grin. I take it your dad told you about me? Yeah. The kid sounds excited. He said you were the best Suiten user who ever lived, and that you were a legendary swordsman. And that you fought at his side and saved the world with him. Bahaha. Naruto-san gives me too much credit. Kisame laughs it off modestly. I'm afraid you won't see anything like that from me anymore. My old bones are much too dusty to fight. Still, you're so cool. The redhead's excitement seems to put the other Jinan at ease. Kisame reflects on his life after the final battle. He'd decided it would be best to find somewhere to retire. He was tired after all of that. Tired of the lies and lifestyle of Shinobi. He'd looked around for nearly a decade to find a place that would accept him, fish face and all, and after accidentally stumbling upon a settlement built by former Amigakure refugees being besieged by bandits, he'd taken the time to butcher the assailants. Not out of any real desire to save anyone, but just for fun. And the locals had praised him for saving him, calling him their hero, offering whatever they could to repay him. All he'd asked for was some help building a cabin and a place to feel welcome. He'd been here ever since, only venturing out on occasion but making sure that Naruto knew that he could send teams his way if they needed somewhere to stay safe. He'd protect them. It was the least he could do after Naruto had saved the world and cleared his name from the bingo books. Can I get you tea, Kisame-san? No dear boy. Rest, get your clothes dry. Actually, let me help. Kisame pulls all the moisture from their clothing and flicks it down the sink. To Little Redhead's absolute amazement. You just pulled moisture. He gulps. It's a good trick if you need water. It's important to stay hydrated in the field. Alright Menma, let's let Kisame-san have some peace. Menma? A funny name for Naruto's son. Later that night, Kisame is sitting out in the rain and enjoying it on his skin. The kid comes out to see him. Hi. Sorry to disturb you. Not to worry young man, I enjoy the company. Got something on your mind? I couldn't sleep. I just want to train. I was like that too when I was young. Couldn't get to bed unless I was exhausted. Now I'm lucky if I can stay awake for a few hours. Can I ask you something, Kisame-san? Go on, little man. What was it like? During the bloody mist? Kisame hopes the kid is usually more tactful. It was horror. Imagine never being able to have a friend. Because you could never know for sure if you would have to kill them yourself. Aw, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked. Don't be sorry, but do take care about what kind of questions you ask. Curiosity is not a crime, and it is important that this generation knows what it was like so the world doesn't have to go back to being like that again. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of things did you learn? Menma asks with avid curiosity. Every village is more or less the same. With a few differences depending on the needs of the nation, mostly based on location. The standard stuff we learned back in the day was management of intel. How to get it, how to dispose of it. And of course, fighting on, in, and with water. I'm trying to be a good shinobi. Can you please teach me anything? I suppose giving a few tips here and there couldn't hurt anyone. Konan is the last of the Akatsuki. The first Akatsuki, not the twisted vision of a desperate man. She is the one who buries her best and only friend. Not in the mud and swamps of Ame, but in a lush field surrounded by flowers. Nagito lived his whole life in darkness and pain. She thought he'd want to be somewhere peaceful, in the light. Nagito hadn't coped well. Not just because of his lack of sight, but a lack of hope for the world. He'd never been able to move past the catastrophic losses, and neither had she. But Nagato just sort of gave up. Lost the will to live. He'd gone in his sleep. She hates herself for being a little relieved. She misses him every day, prays to every god, that his soul may find rest. But Nagato's death had been a weight off her shoulders. And now? She lives simply, with no one the wiser that she even really exists. Konan feels a shift in the wind behind her. Checking on me? Konan rasps, unused to using her voice. Yes. And paying our respects. Naruto says, voice low. Karen is at his side, having teleported them nearby. She really should find those pesky markings and get rid of them so she doesn't have to see these people again. The last thing Nagato would have wanted is the respect of someone who tore down his dream. Neither Naruto nor Karen say anything. Konan frets over the details of her origami on Nagato's grave, wanting it just right again. She knows that they don't really care about Nagato. They probably just feel responsible for her in some twisted way, as Nagato's only real friend. And Nagato had tried to find another way to bring peace, he just didn't have the experience with the way normal people worked. And he was apparently an Uzumaki. There was probably some kind of clan obligation that Naruto felt he had to make sure she's alright. It was Naruto's grandfather that had started this mess. It could be that too. Just do as you will and leave. Konan states, not looking back at them. Karen drops a bag of supplies, and they both take off. Konan's lips wobble. The annual Chunin exams have finally arrived. Naruto had been impressed by Menma's performance so far. His team had completely blitzed the first two exams. His youngest is quite sneaky, even the proctors had failed to examine how he'd stolen the exam answers. And then he'd come out unharmed from the forest of death, with a record time even. Thanks for sending out that team, Naruto Dono. Mangetsu slouches in his designated chair to observe his village's Junon participate in the newly built stadium. My brother is back in the village. Can't remember shit, but at least I know he's safe. It was no trouble. A good learning experience for that team, I'm sure. I'm not late, am I? Kurotsuchi enters the viewing platform. I stopped at the ramen joint in the city center, man. Ichiraku's has been the best in Konoha since before I was born. I'm not surprised it took you a while to get here. No Reikage or Kazekage, I see. Mangetsu looks around. Their teams didn't make it through the second stage. Naruto replies honestly, having a sneaking suspicion as to who was responsible for that particular mess. Excited? Kid number 3 coming in for his Chunin vest. Kurotsuchi takes off her hat and places it on the stand next to her seat. If he's ready to be Chunin, then he will get a Chunin vest. He will not be getting preferential treatment, just like his siblings didn't. Ugh, the wait is so boring. Attention. The first match between Uchiha Menma and Hyuga Sera will begin shortly. Naruto pays close attention. Go Sera. He hears Sakura scream from the crowd. This is it. Menma is slightly nervous in front of the crowd, but he's been working too hard to worry about them right now. He doesn't let it show on the outside. Ready to get your ass kicked again? Menma doesn't look at her. He must remain focused. But also hydrated. He takes a sip of the small flask in his pouch. His hair is kept back in a spiky, low ponytail, with a few loose bangs over his forehead protector. The proctor evacuates the Junon besides Menma and Sera. Cat, got your tongue? Sera grins. Menma stares her down. You won't put a scratch on me. I'm above your level now. Several ooze echo from the stands. Sera narrows her eyes. Menma activates the Sharingan. Uchiha Menma vs Hyuga Sera. Hajime. Sera gets slow into her Juken form as she sprints forward. Formidable speed for a Junon. Menma predicts it, however. She has tried this before, successfully. He drops low as well, using his longer limbs to block her strike from the inside of her wrist, pushing it outward and following up with a knee to her chin. She tumbles back and lands in a crouch, Byakugan wide open with shock. Huh. Naruto smiles. That looks like one of Fujita's moves. Looks like my boy has gotten much better with the Sharingan. Don't sound too proud, Hokage. Mangetsu grins. Sera glares. But she picks up details she'd missed before. Menma's chakra is so calm and controlled, not wild like before. She isn't like the Hyuga of old days. She can adapt. With a jab into the earth, she flips her palm upward and lifts a slab of Doden up vertically, pushing it with her chakra forward to force him to weave around, where she can shut off his tenketsu. The giant brick slides forward and she goes to pincer him around the side she'd left more room to escape from. Haki Kushu. She slaps the air, sending a gust to make him get even closer to seal the deal. Just as she's about to wipe that superior look off his face, the slab swaps with the kunai that he'd already had pointed at her. Her Juken strike leaves a crack in it, but effectively shields him completely from harm. She gets frustrated. Menma has never lasted this long against her before. He sucks at elemental ninjutsu, I'll give him a taste. Sarah cartwheels back nimbly. The showy display is punished with a kick in the head just as she's about to right herself. You might as well stop now. Menma suggests boredly, making her prick up like an angry kitten. Don't get ahead of yourself. She snarls. Oh dear. Sakura sighs. He's controlling the whole fight. Neji had hoped to curtail Sarah's attitude and temper. They've been too easy on her. They see that she pauses for a moment though. So far, Menma had only been reactionary. Maybe he's relying too much on the Sharingan? He starts to weave a hand sign. Snake? What could he do with one snake sign? Menma stops himself from grinning. It feels good to be winning. Given up? Or do I have to put more effort in? Menma taunts. Go on then. Give me your best shot. Menma tried to tell her. He puts his hands in a single seal. Thank you Oyaji and Atama. Makuten, Menma announces loudly. Daisuju great spear tree. The ground shakes beneath them, and a massive tree erupts from where Sarah is standing. She flips between the branches in panic as it increases in size rapidly. More trees begin to sprout up and she does her best to weave around them with all her flexibility to land safely on the ground. You're very nimble, Sarah. Menma compliments loosely. She does not look happy with him. That does it. She shouts angrily, putting her hands in a tiger seal. Blue seal patterns melt out from her forehead, becoming more intricate and starting to glow lightly. The strength of 100 seal. Menma identifies out loud. If I get hit by you now, I'd probably get hurt pretty bad. Shame that's not going to happen. I don't have to hit you. Sarah roars, and with straightened fingers, jabs the ground so hard that the arena surface splits into two even and clean-cut pieces that collapse and leave Menma sinking into the crack. Exactly where he'd be an easy target. Menma doesn't even attempt to move. But the Sharingan in his right eye changes. Sarah doesn't care if it's a trick or not. Using all her control, she speeds through the arena with a sharp jab straight at Menma's forehead. The entire stadium is stunned into silence when Sarah doesn't make contact, but instead slips straight through him as though he were a ghost. That's... Naruto is speechless. He'd honestly thought that nothing would surprise him today. He knew that Menma would pull away with a victory today. But with that? And be the only one of his kids to inherit his Makuten? Good grief. His son is going to be more of a menace than he is. A few days later, the news spreads across the village like wildfire. Naruto smiles proudly at his son. By near unanimous vote, Menma had earned himself a step above Chunin. The same rank of Jounin that his brother and sister have. Menma whoops loudly with a huge smile. Naruto can say he didn't expect his life to turn out this well. But is he glad that it did? That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.